Hi, my name is Richard Wright, and I'd like to talk to you about failing at 2017. We already passed the halfway mark in January, and already I failed at some of my goals. And you might be like me, in which case, one of my biggest fears is that I'm going to be sitting this time next year in exactly the same place I am right now, and that's definitely not what I want. And I know for a fact, as do we all, that if I'm going to change the outcome of my year and I'm going to be sitting in a different place next year, there are certain things that are going to have to change, because if nothing changes, then nothing will change. And we all know tons and tons of quotes out there that the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing, expecting a different outcome. So I'm pretty sure that I'm very similar to most of us out there, that we come back from a break over the Christmas holidays and we come back nice and relaxed. We had a pretty simple time. It was really great. And we had in the back of our minds a couple of things, some of us write them down, some don't, of these aspirations or goals that we have for the year, things that we want to change. And we know that if we can change these things, then the outcome is going to be different. And I came back with a whole lot. And the first one I felt at immediately, and that was I'd like to try not to drink any wine during the week. I'm trying to get onto training a little bit more seriously and getting my life back on track from an Ironman point of view, and that's just one of the things. Well, I failed dismally first week in January, and I've kind of let that one go. That's okay. So it doesn't mean my whole year is a failure. Well, not yet anyway. But there are a couple of others that I chose for reasons, and one of them is that I want to get to bed at 9:30 every night because I want to get up at 4:30. And I want to get up at 4:30 because I want to start journaling, get my day off to a good start, and then I want to hit the road and cycle or run, because one of my goals this year is to try and get through an Ironman relatively comfortably. But the point is that there are a whole lot of things that I want to do every single day from a daily point of view. And I'm going to tell you a bit of an example, because I think sometimes we set ourselves up for failure and we look back and think, well, nothing changed. Well, it changed because perhaps there wasn't a sustainability, or perhaps we put too much pressure on ourselves from a goal point of view. And I'd like to focus on that just for a second. So here's the story. Since December 15th last year, I'd only missed 2 days of training. And I'd had a really good holiday from that point of view, and I'd got back in with some quite good goals. And then last week, Wednesday happened. And what happened is that I had a really good week until Wednesday. I went out for a run in the morning, and I felt like I was dragging my body through peanut butter. And I then went for a swim at lunchtime, and I got out of the pool feeling pretty flat. And I think my body at that point in time said, hey, it's enough now, let's just take a day. But the next morning I planned to do a 100-kilometer ride, and it was going to be my first ride into triple figures, which is quite an important one for me. Time's running out. And I woke up in the morning and I looked out I opened the curtains, looked out the window, and it was raining quite hard in Johannesburg. So I kind of thought, well, maybe not the worst thing. I've got an excuse. It's a get out of jail free card. I'm not feeling great. Let me just take the day. So I did. I didn't do the session that I had planned for later in the day, and I kind of figured I'd try and sort of catch it up somewhere. And we do that. We think, well, I didn't do today, so today I'll do double. Tomorrow I'll do double. So I woke up on Friday morning really, really early with the alarm, and I made my juice bottles for the bike, and I knew that I could only do about 50 Ks, 60 Ks, maybe 2 hours ride. And already I was feeling bad about the fact that it was shorter than I'd hoped, and I started just journaling a little bit and getting my day sorted, and with a cup of coffee. And next minute I thought, hold on, what's that sound? And I opened the curtains, and lo and behold, it was raining again. And I know I had a choice. I had a choice to get out the indoor trainer and spend an hour or so there, but I'd missed the previous day. I knew I was behind already. Now to try and make up. Now I'm trying to make up, and now there's some obstacles in my way. I just wrote off the day. And the next day was the Saturday, and I had my girls. And as a single parent, it's not particularly easy to train, when you've got 2 little girls. But that's still not an excuse. There's no reason I couldn't have sat in an indoor trainer. There's no reason I couldn't have gone for a short run and arranged someone to look after the girls. But for a whole lot of reasons, I just thought, you know what, take another day. You've already taken 2 days off. In fact, why not write the week off? And I got a phone call on the Saturday evening from my training partner, Mike, and we planned to run a 30K run the next day. And that was quite an important run because I've got a marathon that I'm hoping to do in a couple of weeks' time, and I need to get some mileage in. But the thoughts that went through my mind were, you've had 3 days now, it's another one. And I told him no. And I kind of set myself up to that one, and I know I did. And it's not the first time. I think this is a relatively common phenomenon that many of us fall foul of. And then about an hour and a half later, I thought about this carefully. I chatted to my girls, we made a plan. I phoned Mike back and I said, actually, I've had a rethink here and I want to do it. And the reason I want to do it is because I know it's going to happen. If I don't run tomorrow and at least do something, at least claw back some of my week. It's going to mean that I'm going to train 4 days out of the 7 and only 3 that I haven't trained. So actually, that's a fair week. But I know it will happen. If I don't train tomorrow, it's going to be harder to train on the Monday. And the Monday, I've got to be in Pretoria to go and speak there. And I know that it's going to be quite tough to fit the training in. So then just write off Monday. And if I write off Monday, my week's dead. I'm one of those people, if I can train on a Monday, my week is set up. And the rest of the week just runs on. If I miss the Monday, it becomes harder and harder. So I would probably get into a situation where I just write off another week. And then you sit back a couple of weeks from there and kind of think, okay, where did my New Year's resolutions, where did those aspirations, where did my goals die? Oh, they died in the middle of January. And the reason they did that is because instead of saying to myself, Richard, you are going to fail at these things. It's not sustainable to think that you can change your life in one day from the 31st of December to the 1st of January. All of these things are going to change in your life and you're going to become a new person overnight. And the idea is not to become a new person. The idea is to start changing things incrementally because each little change built on a consistent platform is going to translate into a big change. But that takes time. So the message I want to give you today is don't be so hard on yourself. I want you to expect that you're going to fail at some of your goals this year. I want you to expect that it's going to be harder than you thought it was going to be. There are going to be days when you want to have some wine. There are going to be days when you're not going to get to bed early. There are going to be days when you're not going to train. There are going to be days when you're not going to journal. And maybe actually the next time you journal, write in there, did not journal for 3 days, gave myself a break, smiley face. Doesn't matter. Of course it doesn't matter. But what matters is that you change your thinking towards the goals. That there isn't this idea of a perfect state. I've got to score a perfect 10 out of 10. No, you don't. To achieve your goals, you need to understand that when you fail, you pick yourself up, you figure out what happened or what, and maybe there isn't anything to figure out, and you just pick yourself and do it the next day. And if you can pick yourself up and do it the next day and write off that day, there's no catching up here, because when we catch up, we put pressure on ourselves. And when we feel we have to catch up, when we're so hung up on what we failed, we hang up on the past. It's gone. Write it off. And if we can't get over that, and I think there's a lesson there. I think truly successful people have this ability to say, stuffed up, didn't do it yesterday. When's the first time I can do it again? Let me do it again. I'm writing that off. It's gone. The moment's gone. And so I think that if we can get better at writing things off, being a bit kinder, expecting that we're going to fail, adjusting our expectations a little bit, thinking about sustainability of our goals, I believe we'll be sitting here at the end of the year, or maybe this time next year, and we'll be feeling pretty good about ourselves. So good luck and have an amazing year.